There we go. Everything you say can and will be used against you from now
Oh shit.
on.
Let me mute myself.
Dag Sam. Ja, je bent nog gemute, dus ik
Hi.
hoor je. Ik zie je wel, maar
Nu
je
wel.
hoorde je niet. Welkom.
Goeiedag. Dankjewel.
Welkom vanuit een zonnig Edinburgh.
Zo, zeg dat wel. Ziet er mooi uit.
Is that's a good question. Would the Vault exclusive also be available in Queen Street? I wouldn't think so, but
I don't think so, but I vaguely remember a conversation between the venue teams asking if there would be any reason why they couldn't have all the other venue exclusives so that people could,
yeah.
People that only go to the venue in London would actually have access to the full set. But I'm like 50-50. I think you might get a chance to get a bottle from Queen Street.
Okay.
Because we did a black label release, and that was for just a generic venue one, and that was across every venue. We had a 25th anniversary release of a 25-year-old Glen Scotia for London's 25th anniversary, and that was available in every venue.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that you might be able to get it in Queen Street.
Okay. By the way, Queen Street does have to have its own exclusive.
It does.
Which was almost sold to us this week as well. So
It was, yeah. I forgot, yeah.
So we're having an internal meeting, and I think it's the venue manager.
Kyle, yeah.
He tried to sell it to us. So there you go.
He was kind enough to offer a staff discount as well for it.
How are you doing?
Hi, we're good. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good to see you.
The weather is nice.
There's still people coming in. I was actually at the Vault yesterday, and I bought a bottle that was. I mean, if you come here, if you come over here and visit one of the venues, these guys have a huge stock usually of bottles, and also most of the time some older bottlings. So if there's anything that you missed out on, it's definitely worth asking if there's something if the bottle perhaps is available at one of the venues for sale.
And sometimes it's drastically different. Like the stock that sells in the vaults sometimes just doesn't sell at Queen Street for some reason, and they've still got some left over after a couple of months of the release or whatever. So it's the stock does differ between venues, and yeah, there's always some fun stuff. And if you're looking for just trying whiskeys by the glass, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of.
Yeah.
You've got about the last 12 months of outturns at least in there. Not the entire outturns, but yeah, there's just a massive selection.
Yeah, loads of interesting stuff, definitely.
And even heresies as well. I'm always surprised by they still have, like, I don't know if you remember, like there was like Tar Pit. I think there's still some of that over in the vaults.
Okay,
yeah, they've still got the Shimmering Silk that was like the first Irish heresy that we released like 3 years ago. Which I love it, and yeah, there's just they've got the Scooshy Stroop waffle that's still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's always a good.
Which, by the way, this is my personal opinion, tastes nothing like stroopwafels, but yeah, well, that's what you get if you feed squishy stroopwafel to a Dutchman. We are really critical about that. So it is, by the way, a really good whiskey. I like it. I bought a couple of bottles of it personally because I really like the whiskey. But that's the thing with tasting notes. They're so personal and also quite culturally driven. Oftentimes.
Yeah.
That's apparently that this note of stroopwafel is something different for the panel than it is for the average Dutchman, I would say.
Yeah, I kind of like I'd assume that the scooshy the stroopwafel reference for the panel here is could potentially just be Starbucks stroopwafels, maybe.
Yeah, with Starbucks coffee. Okay, let's not go there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Edinburgh to SMWS headquarters. Actually, we're in one of the. It is sort of multifunctional room. This isn't it? It's
Yes.
sort of conference room and.
Conference room. It's the room where you forgot to book an actual meeting room that you can come here.
Yeah.
Yeah, break room. We've got about, I don't know, 70, 80 bottles over there as well, so share a few drams. But yeah, it's the nicest spot as well in the office.
I think I can actually show them.
Oh, awesome.
So
Yeah.
after you guys have all gone, we'll go into there.
But yeah, it's one of the most beautiful views in the city centre of Edinburgh, to be honest, and really lucky to have this. And during Hogmanay and New Year's Eve, we can come up here, and you get the fireworks just like from the
Okay.
castle and stuff. Yeah, it's really nice.
That's an extra reason to come over during that time of year.
Exactly.
Good to know. Good to know. I hope you all have had fun tasting the samples again, and also. Well, I saw the results coming in, obviously, and yeah, I had good fun reading again. The titles you guys come up with are we were discussing before you came on tonight, and I think some of them are, well, at least as good as the stuff that the panel come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You were actually telling me about how titles come about most of the time, which I find really interesting. Could you tell the audience a bit about
Yeah. So it's through the process of the tasting panel, basically, that's existed since the very beginning of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. But today the way it works, so I am a member of the panel. So when I do have time, I can join in for a tasting panel. But the way it works here is we have 4 people that join in the session, and one of the 4 people is titled the chairperson of the panel. So they kind of have the last word on everything in the end. And they decide what we're going to call it and how to kind of produce the tasting notes and what to put into it. But they do that. It is kind of fairly democratic as well. So through the process, we taste 10 different samples through the entire kind of flavor spectrum. So we always start with some kind of lighter, younger whiskies, sherried, experimental casks, and finish with a few peated. So the spirits team, who's in charge of managing the stock, always make sure that we have a variety of things to try, so that then we've got a variety of whiskies to release at the same time. And through that process, we just taste it undiluted, diluted. We've got like a kind of software on our laptops where we just type everything in. We give it a mark from 0 to 10 for each thing. So like on the nose, on the palate, diluted, undiluted, all of that. And we write tasting notes at each kind of section. And then in the end, we kind of suggest a name and we suggest what flavor profile it would be in. And after tasting each whiskey, we always discuss our results together to see where it is. And to be honest, I want to say about 8 times out of 10, everyone is pretty much along the same line. But what's really interesting is that we've got quite a bit of variety in terms of age, gender, and culture. We've got loads of people from different backgrounds that work in the company, from like Sweden, Belgium, myself from France. So the flavor references can change a little bit. So the flavor profile is always pretty much everyone kind of gets it, but then when we start giving specific flavor references, that's where it gets a bit fun, and sometimes you got to explain what you're talking about or the type of dish you're referencing. But in the end,
Geweldig, maar niet zo interessant.
we sample all the whiskeys, and the chair of the panel always gets to keep a little bit of the whiskey that we've tasted, and they take that back home and they'll kind of taste it again in their comfort zone in a kind of different environment, and go through everyone's tasting notes again, and that's when they decide in their own time what we're going to call it and compile the tasting notes all together. So there is that kind of second phase to it as well that's quite crucial. And everyone that chairs a panel, although there's 4 people left now, I think. Unfortunately, one of them passed away last year. And they've all been part of the panel, honestly, since I've been starting with the
Mhm.
company, since for the last like 10 years anyway. I've
Yeah.
always seen them. I think Olaf has been
Yeah, Olaf.
hosting panel
Yeah.
for 20 years. So everyone starts by just being part of it, and then if you just kind of stay in it for 5, 10 years, whatever, and then you're asked, oh well, do you want to just start actually chairing it and compiling the tasting notes? But yeah, no, it's great fun, and I think there is a lot of like, kind of exchange as well into it. But yeah.
I forgot to introduce you, by the way.
Oh, no worry.
Guys, this is Anthony. Anthony, can you tell the people what you do? Besides being a panelist, obviously. Yeah.
So my name's Anthony, and yeah, I've been working for the society kind of on and off for the last 10 years. Started in venues. I started at Queen Street, just down the road from here. And then I lived in Canada a little bit, but I was still working for the Canadian branch over there in Vancouver, just doing on and off ambassadorial work, hosting tastings and things. And then I came back in 2020 to open the venue in Glasgow that we closed after 10 days because of COVID. And then I've been doing this new role that I'm in for the last 3 years or so, and it's more been working into the external events, any kind of tactile experience and any kind of physical experience that you get from the society outside of venues, so tastings, activations, events, and festivals. Started with the UK, and now since January, I've also taken part of the European team, so working much closely with Bob and all our other country managers that take care of their other countries like Germany or France or Sweden or Austria. So
Yeah.
that's.
Oh, good to have
That's about
you.
it.
Good to have you on our little show.
Yeah, thanks.
Um,
And hopefully I'll get to meet you all someday when I come down in the Netherlands and
Yeah, definitely.
visit you.
Definitely. That would be fun. So yeah, we started the conversation already, and I did someone I don't know. I heard someone making a remark. Please, if you have any questions, remarks, want to add something, add stories, whatever, feel free to join the conversation tonight. I also see some people entering stuff in the chat. I've only got one screen here, so for me it's a bit hard to read all of it as well. So again, please feel free just to unmute and well share your thoughts with us. Okay. That was me doing some work at the same time. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with combining work and whiskey, Benny. It's trust me, you can do it. Okay. I hope you are sort of curious about the samples that we tasted this week, because
Before we begin, I have a question
Yeah.
around the tasting sessions that were just described. Is it all in person that you guys are doing, or is there also the concept of work from home and that you have a collection of bottles at home like we have today, but then the samples and
tasting panel.
Oh, the tasting panel. Oh, that's
tasting
all
panel,
in
yeah.
person. Yeah, that's all in person. Yeah, we do it down. We used to do it at the vaults, but because we've moved our headquarters up in the city center now, it's better to just do it in Queen Street. So we do it. All the panel sessions happen at the at one of the little rooms in Queen Street. Usually on a Wednesday or Thursday morning between 10 and 1 o'clock in the library room. So feel free to crash the party if you're hanging about. But yeah, it's always in person. I think during COVID they had to do it online, but yeah, they quickly got out of it as soon as we could, because yeah, I think there's something.
I
bit
think
more.
with the effect from what I've heard is of COVID was predominantly that we're now using online tools to register stuff instead of
Yeah,
yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
So okay, does it answer your question?
It does. It does. I need to move over to Edinburgh apparently if I want to be a joining company. So I was looking for a remote position.
I've left Scotland a few months ago, so unfortunately I only get to come up once a month, so I've already missed quite a few of these sessions. But yeah, no, it's and by the way, it's not just people that work for the company that are part of the panel. So there's a lot of we've got Graham, who's about, I think he's over his 80s, and he used to be a master distiller for loads of Diageo distilleries. So we do have just people from, we've got a guy that, he's a brewer. He's not even, doesn't really work in the whiskey industry, but obviously very close to it. But yeah, so he's part of the panel. Yeah, we've got Angus McCrailed, he's a chair of the panel as well. So he writes tasting notes, but he's Decadent Drinks. I don't know if you've seen some of those bottlings.
Connors.
And Connors, yeah. So there's quite an eclectic mix of people.
But if you want to be part of it, essentially it would be very handy if you could move over here
Yeah.
and on top of that, you need to do a test. So
Yep.
start practicing. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, it's not that easy. It's not. There was one, just a little anecdote, but there was one that I got completely wrong. So we have an olfactory test, which was actually, to me, it was pretty easy. It was very obvious smells. There was about, I think there was there was a list of 9 different aromas, and then you had 9 test tubes and just kind of put them, accordingly. And that was fairly simple. I got 9 out of 9, but they were honestly very obvious.
Things like vanilla or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was nothing, which was weird. I thought we did the Eroxa test, remember, and that was something different. That was all about off notes. And then the second part of it is you get these kind of blue glasses. There was about 8 of them, I think, and those were different spirits that we had to smell and taste. And that was completely, just quite subjective. You just had to give out any kind of tasting notes you were getting from it, and then try to guess as close as you could what it was. And there was one whiskey, I was nosing it, and I was like, that's a really young, overcooked sherry whiskey. Like it's very, very sherried heavily. I'm tasting it, and I was adamant that's what it is. And in the end, it was like a 30-year-old single cask cognac or something.
Yep. Yeah, that's what you get. Yeah.
And the other one as well, and I think that's an interesting. I think that's a good story though to share, because when you're blind tasting like this, I think it's really important to just follow your gut and don't overthink it too much. Because there was one that I smelt it and I immediately thought this is definitely new make. And I put that down as just new make single malt. And then tasting it and then started describing it with loads of tasting notes. And the more I was talking about it, the more descriptive I was getting, the more I was like, it sounds like I'm describing like a kind of white agricole rum. And I was starting to talk myself into that. And then it realized, in the end, I said it was rum, but I was wrong. It was actually new make. But
yeah.
It was just kind of overthinking it a little bit too much. Then initially, just on the first smell, I knew exactly what it was. So that's a little tip, is just, trust your gut sometimes, and you usually.
And your nose.
Yeah, and your nose,
Yeah. That's actually what people don't trust their nose, and that's what you get if you don't trust your nose.
Exactly.
Okay. Any other questions before we go into the results? No? Okay. Let me share the notes with you. Yeah. There we go. Do you all see a green screen with week 2 on it? Good stuff. Okay. So, welcome to this blind tasting experience. Obviously, Anthony has introduced himself. I hope you sort of know who I am. If not, please tell me, I'll explain. Sample number 5. Just to give a bit of a caveat on the numbers here, I had to do this afternoon. So there were 25 participants in this particular sample. You'll see with the later samples that there's less participants. Some of you filled out their forms today. And obviously, just like last week, I will also take those results that you've put in today into a newer sheet, basically. So your results will be added up to this as well, and I'll obviously send the total of it to you again. Okay, Sample number 5. You all thought it was dried fruits and spices. Somewhere in between 56 and 60% ABV. Taste and mouthfeel, quite savory, sharp, sweet. And on the aroma side of things, fruity, floral, sweet, and the rest of it, not so much. And I don't know if you have some in your glass. I hope you sort of picked up on my hint not to pour everything into your first tasting glass and have a bit left. But now I smell this, I really get the floral side of things.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's funny. I mean, this is derived from the aroma wheel that you see here is derived from the one that's used by the Scotch Whisky Research Institute.
Okay.
And I find it really sort of odd that sweet is actually in there as an aroma. Although sweet is not an aroma, it's a taste, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But I do get it. If I smell this, my first reference would be floral.
It's like heathery, like
Heather?
yeah,
Yeah.
or something, you know, that nice kind of like fresh heather, nothing too earthy or anything like that.
And fruity. I even would say towards solventy. It's a bit sharp on the nose for me.
Yeah. I've diluted it
Mhm.
and it's brought out these nice kind of honeysuckle,
Okay.
something like citrusy lemon oil, something
Mhm.
like that. But
Okay. And on the taste, sharp. Yeah, definitely sharp. And it's got pepper in it. Loads of it.
oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, I get the savoriness now. Initially, I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't understand the savory part of it, but now actually,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's almost like it's a bit fainty, as in, for those of you, fainty, if you distill whiskey, if you're distilling, if you're distilling whiskey, sorry, the second distillation, you will split up the distillation in 3 different fractions, as in the 4 shots, the middle cut, the stuff that is actually being matured into whiskey, and the faints, that's basically what is coming after the middle cut. And it smells a bit like that. Middle cuts, faints sometimes smell like sweaty socks, French cheese, that sort of thing. And I get a bit of sweaty socks on this one. So guys, how do you like your sweaty socks? Is there any other tasting notes that you get? Any comments on this whiskey?
Loads of honey and a pink pepper for me.
Pink pepper even.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It has a bit of a peppery sharpness, but it's that more floral, peppery notes.
Okay.
It's indeed a bit thick, syrupy honey, like tea with honey or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of.
I've had tea as well,
Tea.
like a green tea or something. But
Yeah,
in,
more leaning towards green tea indeed.
yeah, in first instance, I was like, this is like very floral, of course, and fruity, green apple, citrusy, those kind of notes. And after I tasted it, it went like a little funky. So I had maggi. I don't know what's it's called in English.
Good one.
And those kind of savory, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit funky to me after tasting it.
A bit like maggi, I usually try to translate as marmite.
Oh, okay.
That sort of
Right.
pretty savory, almost salty, but not really salty.
Yeah, that like umami,
Umami, yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has it a lot on the finish. It's just quite a finish, and that feeling gets stronger towards the end.
Adding water to it really brings out the savory side for me as
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, cool. Most of you thought it was an ex-bourbon barrel. Distillery guesses. 80, 00. Okay, that's a new one to me. 59, 95, 15, 46, 14. It's all over the place.
Well, there's a few numbers in it. What's 22?
Distillery 22.
never
to
seen
to
it.
be honest, I would have to look that up. It's not something that we bottled in recent
I've
times, I
never
think.
seen it. I've never seen it
No.
bottled. Yeah.
If anyone of you wants to find out for us on the internet, please do so. Okay. Toffee and saltiness leads me to 52.
52.
Okay.
I think that's a good guess.
Yeah.
Just like yeah, in terms of flavors, that's not a bad guess.
Definitely not. Also, 8. It reminded me a bit of we did an ex-bourbon matured distillery 8 I think a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago.
All right, okay.
And it sort of reminded me of that as well.
I was just thinking, I don't think I've ever tried an 8 that we didn't just put in a sherry cask.
We actually had one a couple of months ago. That's actually the reason why I bought it. I mean, if you look at the way I approach an outturn, I will usually first look at flavor profile. So
Yeah.
for me, the stuff that has sherry in is usually preferable. At least that's the stuff that I look at first, and then I go into distilleries and maturation and stuff. So something like a distillery 8 in combination with a ex-bourbon cask as final cask, that will
Yeah.
definitely stand out to me as something that I find interesting.
Yeah.
Let's keep it at that. 22 would be Glenkinchie. Well, that would be a great distillery to bottle, but no.
Yeah. It's a distillery that I've visited, but actually I haven't tried that much Glenkinchie. Just more or less their kind of standard range, but definitely not any single cask Glenkinchie.
Hmm.
But
Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I did this. This is one of those distilleries. They do have obviously their own 10-year-old, which is their core. They do it every once in a while. Diageo does some specials around them as well. If you want really good special whiskey, go to the distillery and buy one of their bottle your owns. Usually cask strength Glenkinchie and really top notch. Not cheap, but it's really good. But if you're after independently bottled Glenkinchie, there's not many to go around.
I don't think I've ever seen. Actually, I've actually seen number 70, Bal Blair. That's a good reference as well.
Okay. Rating 3.3 out of 5. So you were okay with it, but not like applauding on the bar or something like that.
I think it's a really nice starter whiskey. I'm gonna keep some aside, go through the other 3, and I'm gonna go back to it because usually I get a bit of a different effect from it. You've been, oh no, yeah, I still got a bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I put it aside. The names you came up with: smoking raisin perfume, burning incense on a beach. Okay.
The incense, yeah.
Cool. Vanilla potpourri. Yep. Flowers, vanilla, sweetness. Yeah. Sweet drip of mint. A last dance. A last dance. So this would be your last dance.
What was the
I'm
the
curious.
inspiration behind that?
Yeah. Pickleback pirate. Okay. The leathery flower arrangement. Zesty riot. Honey in the grass. Spicing the sweet taste buds. That's been done twice. A brisk walk in the woods. Toffee fairy. Okay. Popping clove gumball. Okay. Rozijntjes en vanillepudding gemorst op een pakje blonde roltabak. Tobacco. Okay.
Tobacco, yeah.
Highland Hamish custard Danish.
That's a nice
Yeah, that's a really nice one. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's friends for the newbie. Okay. Cool stuff. Tasting notes. Peat. Someone said peat. Okay. That's okay. Again, I explained last week as well. There's no such thing as a bad tasting note. If you pick up some smokiness on this, if you pick up peat on this, there's no one here can tell you that you're wrong. This is about what you perceive. It's not about what is actually in it. And that's also the fun of it. So peat perfume, raisins, leather, vanilla custard, exotic fruits like lychee, banana, creamy, buttery, oily notes, some herbal, green walnut. Okay. Nose waxy, honey sweet, granola. I think it's, if you think about whole grains and that sort of stuff, you can actually, or
Yeah.
breakfast grains,
Wi-
breakfast cereal.
Without the water, I definitely got some lychee.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit more fruity on the without the water, and then once the water was added, it got into that
Marzipan
complexity.
perfume, grassy, peach sweet.
Mm.
Okay, grassy, mouth covering, peppery, sweet. The fun thing about this, if you read through this, many of you actually come towards sort of the same tasting notes.
Yeah, I see banana kind of mentioned quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it 3 or 4 times now. But
So is this the way it would work in the panel as well? As in, if banana is mentioned a couple of times, the panelist, would that be on the tasting note as well, usually, or?
I think it would, yeah. If it's been referenced quite a few times, they probably would take that into consideration. Or kind of, it depends. What's quite fun as well is that each chair, the panel, they've all got their own style of writing tasting notes. And I think yourselves could actually notice that there is a bit of a difference in style. And also some of them are more abstract than others, and some of them are a little bit more kind of to the point. And yeah, if the banana's a reference, they'll just reference banana. And then someone like our late Robin, who passed away back in December, he was a kind of singer-song, like folk
Poet.
singer-song. Yeah, he was a poet. And he was probably the most kind of abstract one in terms of writing his tasting notes. And they were the ones, I'd say most of them were, if you were amused by some names and tasting notes and didn't understand why the hell they wrote that on a bottle, was probably from Robin.
Yeah.
Like he was the kind of guy to just write, walking naked on a beach on Isla or something. Like that was his kind of references. So yeah, so if he would have seen banana in quite a few of them, maybe he would have incorporated it, but in his own style, in his own way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do kind of write it differently, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Angus as well, he loves his kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of jokes, a bit of sarcasm, a little bit of also quite he likes his kind of sci-fi references and things like that.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll take it into consideration.
Cool. So, which whiskey was it in the end? Wax on toast, fragrant and floral. So not, as you thought, dried fruits and spices. I'll get to that. Distillery 73, 172, 54.5 percent alcohol by volume. So most of you thought it was stronger, and I get that. I mean, it was quite peppery on the palate. So I get that sort of tricks you to think it's higher in alcohol.
Yeah.
But it was slightly below 55%.
I think there is something. I mean, you know more about production than I do, but I think I don't know why that happens. But when there's loads of whiskeys where I taste it and I just know that like some of us just say like the alcohol's not as well integrated in it, and you can feel a bit of a split between the flavors and the other kind of chemical components in it, and then the actual like I guess like the ethanol, the alcohol that you can just really taste it out of it.
Yeah.
But the ABV doesn't matter because there was a 68%, 73 actually. There was a Glasgow exclusive back in 2022, 2021, and it was called Nobody Expects the Spanish Inquisition. It was a reference to Monty Python. Heavily sherried, 8 years old. It was full maturation in a sherry cask. Can't remember what type of sherry it was though, but really nice color on it. Around 67, 68%. You did not need to add any water. The alcohol was perfectly integrated.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it comes through the aging process or if it's
it's distillate and aging. If you taste the strongest alcohol that you can legally get, which is 96% alcohol by volume, if you taste that, and trust me, don't drink the whole bottle, but a little bit won't hurt you. The funny thing about that is usually it's not sharp. You don't perceive it as sharp. You get the alcohol hit actually, so you feel that it's high strength. Most of that feeling is actually it sort of feels dry, and that's got sort of two factors in it. The first one being that alcohol itself doesn't make you feel doesn't make your mouth feel wet. On top of that, it really dries out your mouth. Alcohol is hygroscopic, so it attracts water, and it will immediately attract water from the rest of your mouth into
Okay.
that little sample that you just put in your mouth. So it dries a bit, but it doesn't feel sharp. So pure ethanol is not sharp. It does have a bit of a smell,
Yeah.
bit of a. I usually describe it as a little bit of a acidic or tart-like smell, bit sourness to
Yeah.
it. For me, that's my tasting note for pure ethanol, but it's not sharp. So everything else that's put in there, either through the distillation process. So what middle cut do you take? What yeast have you used? How long was your fermentation, etc., etc. Will all add to sharpness in the end, and also maturation. There is a couple of new makes out there from distilleries like let me think, Glenfarclas, for instance. Their new make is, don't quote me on this, horrible.
Really?
It is not nice to taste. It is sharp. It's out there. It's a really strongly smelling new make, and also strong tasting new make. Remember, this is a half fabricate, so it needs to mature in good wood. And to be honest, if you mature it in a good wooden cask, the spirit that comes out there is really good. So,
Cool.
and others, things like Kalila. Kalila's new make is you can drink it from the still. It is soft, it is peaty, it's very flavorful.
Yeah, we had a member at Queen Street who used to work for LVMH. He was a designer. He did like all the kind of stands and bars and things for Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. And one day, as a joke, we asked him, "Can you bring some new make in from, Ardbeg or Glenmo?" And he brought in 2 liters of Ardbeg new make. And to this day, I always say is like my two favorite Ardbegs are Lord of the Isles, which was unreal, and the new make.
Yeah,
the new make was just amazing. It was just delicious.
Yeah, and if you think of it, so if I'm getting too technical, please tell me, because otherwise I'll just rage on here. But so Ardbeg is one of the distilleries that actually use purifiers. It's sort of copper box next to the line arm, in which some of the vapors are actually led through more copper.
Which Clyde does as well.
Which Clyde does as well, which Glengrant does as well.
Okay.
So these are all the lighter spirits, and so it's actually quite a light spirit, Ardbeg. You wouldn't say it from the smell, because it's peaty, obviously, but the spirit is actually quite light. So
yeah, no, I remember loving it. It was great.
Okay, good stuff. So later on in the last slide, I can actually show you if someone guessed this right. Does someone of you know that they guessed it right? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. Anyone really surprised about this whiskey? As in this, or does it sort of figure that this was it? Okay, let's move into sample number 6. You all thought it was dried fruits and spices, slightly lower ABV, you thought. Only 22 participants this time. Oops. Nick is wanting to join us as well. Let's go to the aromas first. Again, you have this really, I would say, pronounced shape, going towards fruity and floral, and towards sweet, woody, and nutty on the other side. Okay. And taste-wise, you thought it was also quite savory, sharp, mouth coating, and sweet. All of you, or most of you, thought it was an ex-bourbon barrel. Distillery guesses 96, 60, 125, 6, 39, 23. To be honest, if I would, so this again, this is not a competition, although it sort of is a bit, but there's a bit of tactics here. But if you do if you're taking part in a competition like this and you have a spirit in your glass which smells like this, putting in the distillery like 39, when you know if you are tasting an independent bottler, putting in a spirit like 39 is a really good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them do this distillery, bottle this distillery.
Yep.
It's also a Speyside distillery, so many distilleries are from Speyside. So if you're asked to call out the region, Speyside or Highlands would also be a good guess normally.
Yeah.
Unless you're really sure that it's an Isla. Maybe non-Scottish, someone said. Okay, interesting.
Oh.
Yep. I can now sort of tell you that all of these samples this year are whiskies. Last year I put in the odd Armagnac and stuff. So.
Oh, cool.
Which some people actually discovered the Armagnac in there, and some people just thought it was a whiskey, which is not odd, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a bit of an overlap between Armagnac and like Scotch whiskey, or like the kind of more wood forward, sherry forward whiskies.
Mm-hmm. Distillery 139.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have no
I was trying to
idea.
think of it, and
Okay. 36, I do have an idea. One of my favorite distilleries,
me
actually.
too. And I think 36 is a good guess.
Mhm.
I think there is I haven't tasted it yet, but just on the nose.
Again, I do get the savory, and again, I have this. For me, it's a bit fainty,
Yeah.
which is, to be honest, it's not always a bad tasting note. It can be really can really add to character if fainty goes towards savory.
Mhm.
Definitely, I really like it.
Getting a lot of curry notes,
Curry.
spices. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but there is something that's like I'm just trying to figure it out, and it
Mhm.
seems that like really aromatic, like aromatic spices,
Okay.
just probably coming from the type of cask, I'd assume here.
On the palate, it reminds me a bit of eating really sharp citrus fruit or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Slightly bitter, slightly.
Have you ever eaten like a whole kumquat
Yep.
like that? Like you just get everything. You get that
Yeah.
horrible pithy bitterness with the juice and everything. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Cool stuff. The rating you gave this whiskey was 3.5 out of 5, which is quite good. Titles you came up with. Spicy Jack Sparrow. Lemon cheers cake. Okay. Tinseling sip of orange. Tinseling was in the tasting notes last week as well. Bake off using wood chips. Okay. Spicy summers in an orchard. Cherry picking. Spicy woodpecker. Let's burn the oranges.
I actually I was just reading that, and I think that's a good, yeah.
Yeah. Tropical forest. Summer trip to the Provence. Ooh, that sounds like a good idea. Eating lemon cake in a flower field.
But full Monty.
Yeah. You should talk about it. That's a good one as well. Cleaning the brushes after paintwork. Ooh.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Linseed, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Fruitcake pleasure. That's a good one as well. Okay. Tasting notes. First impression of crystallized sugar, some sugar cane. So my tunnel vision is a rum barrel finish. Okay. Some spice, ripe apple and pears, estery, mouthfeel peppery with a nice balance of sweets. Lemon cheesecake with cream, sour cherries. After 8. Okay. Chocolate and mint.
I think on the nose, yeah, that like dark chocolate.
And mint?
Yeah.
As well? Okay. I
And
don't
like
get
the
that.
really sweet peppermint kind of.
Okay, cool. Seems quite a young dram. A lot of wood. Okay. I would not associate a young dram with a lot of wood, to be honest, but that's me.
Yeah, unless it's like a really active
Yeah.
cask. Yeah.
definitely. Or something that is actually not from Scotland, for instance.
Yep.
Type
Aged in, yeah,
whiskey,
yeah,
yeah. 138, for instance, can be really, really like wood driven.
yeah.
So yeah, cool.
Like aged in those kind of different environments, higher temperatures, more humidity or lower humidity.
Mhm.
But yeah, or like even like the Paul Johns that we've bottled. I think there is something maybe a little bit similar to that.
Yeah,
Um,
they can also be really, really interesting. These Paul Johns, by the way.
they can be, yeah.
Yeah.
The peated ones were really fun. We haven't released any in a while, but
Mhm.
what was the one? It's called Sooty Sausages,
Yeah,
and that was really fun. That was, I think,
Yeah.
so far my favorite
Ringo
one.
George.
And Ringo George, yeah, like really clever name.
Yeah. Medium amber husk barley, dried fruits, prune, fig, sorry, raisins. Okay. Creamy butter forms a beautiful base for the fresh notes of lemon peel and lemongrass. Good stuff. Okay.
I think the finish on this is nice as well.
Yeah.
Just, after like a couple of minutes breathing in, and it just keeps getting a bit of butter on toast. It's just getting a little bit more. I thought it was quite fresh and definitely like that citrusy note,
Mhm.
but now it's getting a little bit more kind of buttery and like confectionery sweets and things like that are coming through a little bit more richness.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the notes towards cake and or citrus cake, something like that.
Yeah,
I would describe the finish as silky.
Yep.
It stays on the tongue, but it's actually
it's definitely
like
not
this.
offensive or anything. Like it's not in your face. It is quite balanced and
Mhm.
subtle. So no.
Good stuff. Drum roll. Which whiskey was this? The Bourbon Bomb. Distillery 70, cask number 60.
Oh wow.
Yep.
70 was referred to the other one as well before that, but
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yep.
And is it's just bourbon as well?
Yeah, first fill ex-bourbon barrel, 16 years old. I must say, for a 16-year-old whiskey, it's got quite, especially when it's been on an ex-bourbon, first fill ex-bourbon barrel. So a bourbon barrel that's been used for
Yeah.
maturing whiskey and for the first time.
Yeah.
It's really got a punch. So someone called out this whiskey to be fairly young. I do get that. I do get it why. I
Yeah.
do get why. Sorry.
But Balblair's a pretty light spirit to
Mhm.
start with, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But it is like I am surprised. 16 years old, first fill barrel. I don't know, I would have expected.
Yeah, slightly more wood influence,
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah. But really
Okay.
well balanced. And then here, I think that's a good example of the alcohol integration. 58.5.
Yeah.
But it looks like the consensus was that this one was going to be lighter in ABV compared to the previous one.
Yeah, most of you thought in between 51 and 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I would have agreed with that.
Yeah,
That kind of early mid 50s.
definitely. Okay, cool. Bill Blair, one of the nicest distilleries to visit, to be honest.
I've never
It's
been.
really scenic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where is it exactly? I can't remember now.
Oh,
Sorry.
I-
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Just
help me
above
out here.
Inverness.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Inverness.
Above Inverness, like a small hour above.
Next.
Okay.
Across the road from Glenmorangie.
Ah, right. So yeah, north. Yeah, okay. A
Yeah.
little bit further up
near
north of
a
Inverness.
railway. It's one of these. If you ever get to it, obviously visit the distillery. But when you go out of the distillery, there's this road. If you're in front of the entrance, to the right of it, it goes slightly upward.
Yeah.
And if you follow that road, you can actually see the distillery from up above a bit. So which
Oh, wow.
really, really scenic. So.
And Dornoch is very close, so if you want a dram and a good
Oh
stay.
yeah.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
Go.
If you have seen Angel Share,
Yep.
Yeah. I was just
That's
thinking
the one.
it's in there, isn't it?
Okay. Good stuff. Sample number 7. You thought it was dried fruits and spices, somewhere in between 56 and 60% alcohol by volume. Really spiky
Oh, wow.
aroma graph. It is, that's funny. So yeah, fruity, definitely fruity. Whoops, I need to shove a couple of screens around. A bit fainty, stale, sour, spicy. Okay. Woody and sweet. Okay. On the palate, you all thought it was a bit salty. So saline, I would say. There's no salt in whiskey. Sharp, mouth coating, dry, and sweet. Cool. So on my first, I go by first impression. My first impression is that this stuff has been on the sherry cask.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, immediately get this well, deep rich. It used to be deep rich dried fruits, but kind of style. It would have been in that flavor profile, definitely. It's also. I also pick quite a few vanilla notes immediately.
Yeah, there is that like custardy.
So
I don't know. I've got with myself tonight, but I am getting quite again like these aromatic curry spices things coming through.
Okay.
Here.
The taste, the mouthfeel, a mouth coating, dry, sweet. Is also quite sharp. It's quite a flavor bomb, actually. As soon as you have it in your mouth, it explodes. It also makes me chew.
Wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great mouthfeel on it.
Okay.
I can
Final cast.
that
Oh,
green curry feel a little bit.
green curry.
Yeah, it has a bit of a vegetable note somewhere on the nose, but it's so much spices and fruitiness on the palate. It's creamy. It's very nice. I can't.
Definitely creamy / mouth coating. Yeah.
Yeah, but
all
there's
the
a lot
finish.
of exotic spices also in there somewhere.
Yeah,
that-
I'm on the nose. I agree with that. There is like aromatic, light curry leaves or something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe is it like coriander, cumin?
Yeah, stuff like that in there. Very nice balance.
But the finish, and it's weird. Like the mouthfeel, you can still feel it in your mouth afterwards, and it's really nice and round and a bit that like rich stickiness to it. It's quite it's a great dram. Thank you.
Definitely. It's also one of those drams. If I would find this in my glass at home, I would definitely take more than an hour to taste it. As in, it feels like this one will develop quite a lot during or while you taste it.
Yeah, I think you're right because it is pretty explosive. Like there is loads going on.
So my immediate instinct would be not to add water immediately, but just to leave it for quite a while, and then try it again and again and again intermittently. It's also got a bit of almost wood smoke to it, or burnt sugar, caramel.
I did get something a little bit, yeah, like a subtle note of like something peated, earthy, smoky.
Okay.
Oh, on the palate, it's I think it's yeah, we're on the sweet.
It's definitely more on the more ballsy side of things. Most of you thought the final cast would have been an ex-bourbon barrel. Distillery guesses 8, 80, 70, 68, 60, 21, 149. 149. That's an interesting one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess with the saltiness, that like salinity that you're getting, and the mouthfeel, actually, it's no.
149 is a really interesting distillery, as they do sort of unpeated or and lightly peated.
They do. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So two different distillates made from different malts as well. But they tend to be quite fruity, all of them. So 149, I think it's a good guess, to be honest.
I'm getting quite a bit of cereal on the finish now, like the really like the sweet porridge, even like just actually just fresh malt, you know, just you open the bag just before you actually mix it with anything else, and then like that, like sweet maltiness in the back of your back of your mouth.
A morning walk in the fields. Okay, that's not a distillery, but 28. Geen idee. Ik denk sowieso een Speyside. No idea. I think a Speyside whiskey. Gambling here. 44. 21. 5. Cognac. Okay.
It's I think
Yeah,
that's fair.
I know why. I know what you did. Why you said that. It's yeah. Your rating 3.7 out of 5. So you definitely thought this was the best one up until now. Titles: Raspberry Chocolate Bites, Musty Salt and Pepper on Sweetwood, Dried Fruits Scattered Over Wooden Floor, Mrs. B, okay, Delightful Yin and Yang of Sweet Bitterness, Caramelized Vanilla Bean, okay, Kick the Bucket. Oh yes, thank you. That's the sort of that's the sort of thing that would make me buy a whiskey. Kick the bucket. Schizophrenic, sweet or spicy. A schizophrenic. That's actually if you're joining next week, our colleague Chris will be on our meeting, our session. And schizophrenic whiskey is actually something that he uses quite often.
Oh, really?
If a whiskey has a nose that goes one way and then the flavors go the other way,
Yeah.
he immediately goes, "This is schizophrenic whiskey." Tobacco leaves soaked in wine. Oh my woodness! Ooh,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
that's a nice one. Sweet grasshopper, tangerine salad, mandarin flame, mandarin. Okay. Okay. Raisins soaked in brown sugar, licensed to dry.
Oh, nice.
That's a nice one. Warm tobacco glow in the bakery. Warm tobacco glow in the bakery. Cool. Tasty notes: raspberry, jam, toffee, lots of vanilla. Yeah, definitely. Smells sweet with a slight caramel burnt note. Once you taste it, it slowly coats your mouth in caramel and a tone of vanilla. Sweet, nutty, spicy, woody, fruity. Prune, tobacco, spices, leather, vinegar. Okay. With a note like vinegar, I always immediately want to ask what kind of vinegar.
Yeah.
Is it balsamic or is it
Just malt vinegar? Is it
malt
just-
vinegar?
yeah.
The really potent stuff, or
The attack of the raisins.
the attack of the raisins? That should be the title.
That's a good name. Yeah.
Coating with sweetness towards the finish. Salt, sweet, old leather. There's quite a lot of leather in there.
Yeah, there's a few references for tobacco as well, which I do appreciate. I think there is like that kind of soaked tobacco or something, chewing tobacco. It's a great. This is a great whiskey. It's actually it's so well balanced and it gives you a bit of everything.
Yeah. Let's agree on it. This one is really great.
Yeah.
I think Chris is also going to be rather cross with me because Chris has there's one distillery that he really, really, really likes. Which is Distillery 10. So Chris would have really liked to be able to present this one.
It's a Frantic 10. How?
Yep.
It is, yeah.
Looking for Chris.
The title is even sort of schizophrenic. Spring and Summer Collection.
Yeah.
So 1 foot in the spring, 1 foot in the summer. It's an Islay whiskey, obviously. It's been additionally matured on first fill hogshead Spanish oak Oloroso. And it's 12 years old. Really good. 63.9% alcohol by volume.
Oh, wow.
Let's go back to what you guesstimated here. 56 to 60.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's close.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 63.9. Wow. That's quite high. That's quite high.
It is quite high. I would have said below like 59.
And also quite high for a 12-year-old whiskey. So this probably would have gone into casket distilling strength.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think even in so like what said closer to 70?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah. So those of you who don't know, in general, whiskey new make will be watered down to 63.5% alcohol by volume in Scotland, because it's better for the maturation process. That's the first reason. The other reason is so these blenders, the blending industry, obviously being the biggest part of the Scotch whiskey industry, they need all kinds of different whiskies for their blends. And these larger companies, they actually exchange packets of whiskey. So let's say Bunnahabhain will exchange 100 casks of Bunnahabhain against 100 casks of Kalila, for instance, to be able to make their blends. And when their starting point is all 63.5%, if you exchange 100 casks of 10-year-old Bunnahabhain against 100 casks of 10-year-old Kalila, you don't. Well, basically, you have to inform the taxman that you now own these casks, but you don't need to exchange any money anymore for that anymore. So that's the main reason for that. But looking at this ABV, it probably went into cask at a higher ABV. I don't know. Have you ever heard of any Scotch whiskies that have increased in alcohol by volume during maturation? Because usually it's the other way around. It will decrease.
In Scotland?
Yeah.
Not in Scotland.
No.
Well, I was always told that the science behind it is that if it's just down to the environment that the cask is set in. So if you are in the Caribbean aging rum, or if you're in Kentucky, where the temperatures get very, very high through the year and the humidity can be relatively low, so the water is going to evaporate faster than the alcohol. So then the alcohol is going to
go up.
Yeah. So I think there's quite a lot of these, like they call like barrel strength bourbons that are pretty old, but then they're still, 65, 69,
or even higher than that.
Yeah.
And they need to go into barrel at 62.5 by law. So they have gone up.
Yeah.
If you see that.
There was a rumor that I've heard, and I now people can take this everyone can take this with a pinch of salt, because I don't know if it's true or anything, but there was during the 80s when the industry was going through a pretty tough time. A lot of distilleries were getting mothballed or closed. Some of the distilleries, to save up on money and on costs and buying too many casks, they would just completely stop watering down the spirit, and they would just fill all their casks at still strength, because that's just less liquid, means less money on casks. And obviously they were not selling. So those things sat in casks for a longer period of time, and then came out maybe 20 years later in the early 2000s, where there was this, all of a sudden, whiskey started to come back again, because these spirits from certain distilleries that were doing it turned out to be absolutely amazing, and were winning all these medals, and people were, even just wine sommeliers were, talking about whiskey is actually a beautiful product. And some people say that it's down to these distilleries actually just filling them at still strength. But the thing is that you have to wait longer. You bottle these at 25, 30 years old, and they're actually absolutely stunning. But I don't know if that's an absolute
It is
truth,
actually
but
true. If you remember these old Diageo bottlings, the rare malts, these are usually quite high in ABV, and also quite old whiskies as well. And that's because they were filled into cask at distilling strength. So
it's interesting, because one of my favorite numbers for a long time was Distillery 50, which was Bladnoch. And the reason why is when I started 10 years ago, you just kept releasing these Bladnochs of like 25 years old. And they were all distilled in the early 90s, when this was just before Diageo got rid of the distillery. So this was ex-Diageo stock, and it was unreal. And we still release a few, but I don't think we've got many left of these casks, but they were amazing. Like 25 to 30-year-old. So that's, that would make sense.
Cool. Okay. Let's go into the final whiskey.
Oh, there's an interesting question in the chat from Gabor.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Gabor, the name of sample 6 is different than the usual. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Basically, the question is, why do I see the same casks being bottled under different names sometimes?
That could potentially be the I don't know, we call it like TTB. It's usually, if you've seen it in like the release in the US, that they'll have different names, because there's just different laws in the US where it's really it's difficult to you basically can't sell a whiskey that's called, you know, yummy toffee fudge, because then you're
Mandarin. Yeah.
yeah, so because then you're insinuating that you're selling actually that product than
Toffee,
more than
fudge, and
whiskey.
mandarins.
Yeah. So we sometimes have to come up with a different name if we're releasing that whiskey in the US. And then usually it just gets a bit more abstract because it's just easier to get away with it and not have to deal with that issue. And the other thing with TTB as well is that I think we have to, all the whiskeys that are going to be released from the society in the US, they're all officially like public through like just by law. They have to be public. They have to be made public at the beginning of each year. So actually, if you're a pretty, full-on nerdy US member, you can actually go on, you can find out exactly like every whiskey that's going to be released in your country that year. It's a bit of a shame, but we can't go around that. But that could be one of the reasons. I can't imagine any other, I can't think of anything else right now. But yeah, that's usually that's most of the time why the issue why we have to change the name for the exact same whiskey.
Yeah. Does that answer your question, Gabor?
Yeah, it does. No, it was just for people that want to order it. If you look for the bourbon bomb, you will never be able to find it.
Oh,
But I
yeah,
was
sure.
just looking at the distillery codes, and then I came up with the exact same distillery code up until the bottling. So,
Yeah.
and sample some number 7, unfortunately, we cannot get in the EU. I see. So that's a pity. So I guess we need to get over to Edinburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've now tasted something that is quite special.
And actually, yeah, bourbon bond, if we wanted to release that specific whiskey in the US, we definitely couldn't sell it, because we put in the word bourbon on the label, it would have to be bourbon. We wouldn't be able to, which is actually our monogram, this one that came out in, I think in 2017. That was a worker, because in the same year that's when we started doing single cask spirits. So rums, bourbons, ryes, and all these kind of things. And the old monogram, if you remember before that, it had the Scotch Malt Whisky Society written around it. And basically when we were selling other spirits, rums, for instance, in the US, when they got there, they were like, hang on, no, it says the Scotch Malt Whisky here, so you can't do that. So then we came up with this monogram, and then it was actually, that's a much nicer monogram, so we'll just stick it on every bottle now.
Yeah.
So that's a little backstory to that little piece of art. It just came to a difficult moment, and it turns out to be something that's
it's been really good.
works quite well.
Yeah. Okay, whiskey sample number 8. Bolt and peaty, you thought 56 to 60% ABV. Let's go to the aromas first. Fruity, solventy, woody, nutty, spicy, oily, and obviously peaty. Very strong. Yeah, if you notice this whiskey, you can't get around it. Unless you're anosmic to peat smoke, which if you're anosmic, that means that you cannot pick up the kind of smell. So that can be smoke, for instance. So if you're anosmic to smoke, if you can't smell smoke, yeah, I get that you don't find this peaty, but I immediately get the peatiness on it. And obviously so did you. On the taste side of things, salty, savory, sharp, mouth coating, and sweet. Cask, most of you thought this would be a barrique. Interesting. Distillery guesses, distillery 1 to 2, 10, 14, 16. 1 to 2 sometimes peaty, 10 is sometimes peaty, 16 is sometimes peaty, 29, that would be nice, but no cigar this time. Yeah, I think it might be a 16. Yeah, 53, definitely 10. Okay, cool. Seaside barbecue, soapy petrol ashtray. Yeah. Honey dipped walnuts are on fire. Okay. Peanut oranges are the best. Smoked picanha in the autumn.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
That sounds delicious.
I would actually have, I'd have like a picanha with this kind of whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. Smoking in the hospital parking lot. Smoked barbecue and prawns dressed with sour sauce. Spring bonfire on the under the apple blossom. Stroll on a smoke-filled beach. I was looking at the capitals if that meant something, but I can't work it out. Hit the weekend with this peaty pleasure. Ooh.
Yeah.
Cigar smokers leather briefcase. I think we had a title like that or something like that, similar.
Yeah, the bell.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Waves of whiskey on a sandy beach under a copper mine chimney. That will be slightly too long for on the bottle, but I like it anyway. Fruit basket on the factory floor. A pure gem in heaven. Ooh. Come on, come with us to Fisherman's Wharf. Cool. Tasting notes. Campfire barbecue sauce. Red fruits. Unox knakworst. Oh, this does not translate. It's like a smoked sausage, which is produced in the Netherlands. Yeah.
A smoked sausage.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Smoked
Okay.
sausage. That's more or less it. Dumpty dumpty dum. Nose hints at a burning campfire in the distance. That's also true. But when you peatiness is not only smoke; it's also things like ashy, earthy, sometimes herbal. It's actually quite a complex tasting note, isn't it?
Yeah. It is quite funny because I am like I told earlier off the record to Bob that this smelling this kind of reminded me of my uncle in some kind of way. And he used to be he was a heavy smoker Frenchman. So we always had like I don't know if is Dracar Noir.
Yeah,
Like that kind of
yeah.
just like old-fashioned cologne, and like he used to smoke 2 packs a day, and that's just what I'm getting through this. It's quite funny, just that kind of aroma. And that's my favorite part of tasting is the nostalgia, that like when it just kicks you back to somewhere in your youth or somewhere in your past. Which I think that's something also when you're writing tasting notes like that, I think it's really fun to just dive into those memories and, tell us about it a little bit. I think that's I do that when I'm doing the tasting panel a lot. Yeah. If it happens, I'll definitely start describing some kind of memory and
the memory reference can be really strong.
Yeah.
You smell something and immediately it takes you back to the place, the time, certain people. Wow, yeah.
Exactly.
Smoked ham and wet pebbles. Strong earthy and peat smoke. Hints of fruit with apples. Brilliant light yellow color. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Meatiness. Yeah,
definitely.
Again, having this with a smoked picanha. Yeah, anytime. Good stuff. So, which distillery was this? Which whiskey was this? And again, it's a number 10.
Oh, finally I get to taste this. Actually, I've seen Scooby Snack all over the website, and I kept shipping it to everyone like Bob in the EU for tastings. Like I'm never going to get to try it, and I thought it was an interesting dram, so I'm glad that I actually got to get a taste of this.
Again, one of those titles where I immediately think I want to have that.
Yeah, it is a fun.
Isla whiskey, obviously. Additionally matured on a second fill butt Pedro Jimenez sherry butt, sorry. And it's only 11 years old at 60.1 ABV. So that is a bit of a stinker. The category runs up until 60. So sorry. 1 out of 522 bottles. And I think it's sold out by now.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah. So if you really like it, you either have to come to Scotland and try the venues.
I don't know if it was released in the EU. Maybe, but I'm not sure because I don't think I've seen it in the venues.
Oh, there you go.
Because sometimes there's a few EU exclusive, and it's not for the purpose actually of making it, exclusive to the EU, but it's just a
It will
kind of
fail
a
anyway.
pragmatic choice to we can't put it between the two markets, we just send it to the EU.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen that often, but sometimes
Okay.
you can get that. But it would probably make more sense to talk about it a little bit more.
Cool. Great whiskey, I think. by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last bit of this session is obviously our scorecard. Again, some of your results won't be in here. All your scores were held against this answer key. Sample 5, 51 to 55%. Sample 6, 56 to 60. Sample 7, 61 to 65. And sample 8, 61. Hey, whoops. It's 60.1% alcohol by volume. So I think I'll just correct that and make everyone who guesstimated both categories. I'll give a point for that. No worries. I'm always interested in how many people did guess the distillery right. From the top of my head, I immediately would say that some people would be able to guesstimate Boonhaven correctly. And interesting, that happened obviously with the peated whiskey, not with the unpeated.
No.
So there you
I
go.
guess your choice is a little bit more restricted when it comes to the peated distilleries, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Also ABV, we thought, I think that didn't go all too well this time, and although in the last two whiskeys it went pretty well. Anywho, participant number 2 and participant number 44 are doing really great at the moment with their scores. And the rest of you have got some work to do.
Yeah. What's quite interesting was I noticed there was a lot of the dried fruit and spices flavor profile that got picked up, but then overall, when you go through the actual tasting notes, it seems like it's actually more relevant to the correct flavor profile. If does that make sense? So which I thought, it's an interesting, don't know, maybe before you pick the flavor profile, read your tasting notes and see if it actually correlates, and then you might want to change it maybe. Because I think there was like the fragrant and floral one. I can't think was it the sample 6?
Yeah.
A lot of the tasting notes just correlated. They were much closer to the fragrant and floral flavor profile than
it's the same thing that occurred to me last week, is that some people, if you read the tasting notes, they give references to things like cherries, like dried fruits, like red fruit, and then they guesstimate an ex-bourbon barrel, which I'm not saying that it can't be an ex-bourbon barrel. Sometimes they do actually impart those kinds of flavor on a whiskey, but usually I would more associate those kinds of flavors with ex-sherry matured.
Yeah.
And then obviously whether it's an ex-Oloroso or an ex-PX cask, there's also differences between those two, but the difference between an ex-sherry maturation and ex-bourbon maturation is quite big. Having said that, these were additionally matured, so there's also there's 2 casks in the game. So okay.
Bob, may I ask a question? With the second maturation on wood, but also with the heresy and 2-1, do you have any? How can we taste that? An ex-bourbon, just only bourbon, is a bit easier than more cask types. A lot more easier than 2-1 or heresy. So how can you taste the difference between those?
Okay. It is, let's start with, to be honest, it is quite hard to taste sometimes. It's quite hard to pick up. But for me, if I have a really sherried whiskey in my glass, and I do usually pick up the sherry kind of thing on it, or at least or if it's been on European oak, that's something that I pick up quite easily. And I have that in combination with things like huge vanilla notes as well, and things like bananas and perhaps coconut,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. That's a strange combination for an ex-sherry cask, usually.
Yeah.
So again, this is in general. The thing is, cask maturation is an art and a science. It goes, yeah. I mean, the fact that we can have all these different whiskies is because of maturation not being an exact science. But that would be the giveaways for me. That a whiskey probably has been on several different casks. But
Yeah.
don't know how you.
I don't know. It is difficult, but I think it is a good way of kind of explaining it when you do. I think that's just experience, though. You do have to taste, and you've got to try a variety of whiskeys, and you can just kind of accumulate this kind of data, and then kind of figure out, is that, oh, I've tried something that had that similar complexity and mixing flavors with vanilla, coconut, and then it's full on raisins and tobacco. So I think that just does come with practice to be able to figure it out. But the good place to start is being able to identify those notes.
Yeah.
And then keeping, or even just literally just writing them down, keeping notes of them or something, can always kind of help you with that.
What also tends to help me is if I'm unsure, I will pick a known whiskey. I will pick a known whiskey from my whiskey closet. Something that is definitely ex-bourbon matured, a lighter
Yeah.
spirit, so it can really get the ex-bourbon maturation side of it.
Yeah.
And then compare it to the sample that I need to judge on. So if there is an ex-bourbon maturation on it, you usually pick up the similarities if you have them together. If there's not any of it, they're not there. So
I mean, sometimes well, I guess, yeah, to guess what cask it was in, I guess you can figure it out if it was ex-bourbon. But then the thing with like ex-bourbon is it can let the character, the spirit come out, and then you can get all these different crazy kind of flavors and aromas that you need to figure out. They didn't come from the cask, obviously. They came from the previous steps of the process of making whiskey. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's at the very least, it's a very good thing that we most of the time just put on the label what's in where the whiskey has been in. And I think what Anthony just said about practicing, yes, that helps. If you taste ex-bourbon matured whiskeys next to each other and try to figure out what are the similarities between these whiskeys, and then leave it for a week and then do the same thing, and then compare your notes, for instance, that's the way to train your nose basically, and also to train your olfactory library, your memory, because the hardest thing about picking up smells is not picking up the smells themselves. It's not recognizing the smells. It's not referencing the smells towards something that you've already experienced before. It's the translation between that part of the process and the actual wording of it.
Yeah.
That is the hardest bit.
Yeah. But it is, in some kind of sense, I do enjoy it when I can taste or smell something and I just can't put a word on it.
True.
And you just
yeah.
And then a week later you taste the thing that it was reminding you of or something, and then you're like, finally.
Yeah.
But the other thing as well, a note that I think is super important is trying the same stuff, but just different times of the day, because I think our sense of smell is very acute, and you can pick up aromas pretty easily through the day. I think we really underestimate our sense of smell, but our sense of taste, I think our palate is actually much more capricious. Like for instance, I know that my taste buds are at its best when I'm on an empty stomach and I'm hungry. So then I just get drunk after a dram and a half, but at least I can actually taste and I get a lot more out of it. And I think that was something that my background initially was wine, actually, when I was studying, and I wanted to become a sommelier. And that was something that I remember from there, is that we the best time to taste, not necessarily drink. The best time
Early
to
morning.
taste is early in the morning. Yeah. You've had a light breakfast or maybe just before lunch, like aperitif time, and you can definitely, I can certainly get a lot more flavors out of whatever I'm tasting at that time of the day, and like the tasting panel happens in the morning, just before lunchtime.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I always spot when people they leave the office in the morning, they go to the panel, they come back at lunch, and you can just see rosy cheeks and they've had their. Yeah, I think that's something to always keep in consideration. If and don't get frustrated if you can't taste or you're not enjoying the whiskey as much as you did the week before, because just think about, oh, have I just had a massive meal? Have I just, all these? Am I tired as well? There's all these things, your mood, things like that. It's good to keep that in mind.
Definitely. And in the end, don't forget that this stuff is made to enjoy.
Yeah,
Don't take it too seriously, but unless you want to work in the industry, but enjoy it. That's the main thing, actually.
yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Well, I have one remark and one question. The remark first, for the four samples today, I was right on 3 of the
Cool.
4 on the ABV. And on
Nice.
the last, I set 56 to
60.
60, and it was 61. So
Yeah.
60.1. So
I
was not.
tried to explain already, but I'll give a point for both categories. It was
No,
a bit
no.
of a stinker, so yeah.
And my question is, where can we find the videos of the session? Because last week I couldn't assist to this session.
Yeah. Well, last week I forgot about the record button, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So,
No chance.
that's not online, to be honest. But this one will be, and I will include the link to it in the email that I sent you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a bit of an eerie fog taking place now over the city. It looks a little bit quite fun, but it's a shame that you don't get to appreciate the sunset that we're getting here, but it's beautiful. Always recommend coming to visit Scotland at this time of the year. Like between late April, mid-June, you've got high chances of having some decent weather and really just
Not too many people in yet.
Yeah, that's
not too many midges around.
Yes, that's if you want to go hiking, 100%.
Yep. Usually during this time, distilleries will already have opened their visitor center, so lots of opportunities to visit distilleries. It's a great time to be in Scotland.
Yeah.
So it's autumn, by the way, I think.
Yeah, September, October is quite nice.
Yeah.
But the days are longer though at this time of the year as well, so you just get to enjoy your days a little bit more. And but yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Bob,
Yeah.
regarding the score sheet, will there be like only one winner or several or like a top 3 or?
The score, well, I need to speak to this man over here. We agreed upon one bottle for the winner. Perhaps I'll throw in some consolation prizes for the number 2 and for the runner-up and number 3.
All right. Cool.
There will also be a prize for the best tasting note and a prize for the best title. I will make short lists for these, and you can all vote for titles and tasting notes. So you'll you can campaign for your tasting note if it's in there, if you want to.
All right. Thanks.
I was very impressed by the names when I was reading them earlier. I thought these are actually, it was quite nice because I can get that there's a bit of, everyone kind of actually appreciates the names and there's a bit of influence from it and you feel quite inspired by it. And some of them were like just amazing. They're all really good. Yeah. And worthy of, being put on an SMWS bottle, I think.
Cool. Anthony, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
It was good fun. So yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm going to enjoy the evening in Edinburgh now. And I hope to see you all next week again. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.